Hello, today is March 20th, it's Wednesday, and I'm going to do my reading. I've got it up on the TV. I'm going to start at chapter 11 in Judges, and you'll be able to hear it as I follow along on my tablet, which the words is easier to see. Maybe. There it is. Let me start it.
Judges, chapter 11. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of an harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out Jephthah, and said unto him,
Thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman.
Then Jephthah fled from his brethren, and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah, and went out with him. And it came to pass in process of time, that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so, that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah,
Come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon.
And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead,
Did not ye hate me, and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye coming to me now when ye are in distress?
And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah,
Therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayst go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead.
And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead,
If ye bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, shall I be your head?
And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah,
The Lord be witness between us, if we do not so according to thy words.
Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying,
What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land?
And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah,
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what this
It's
new
a commercial.
invention can do. These self-adjustable glasses are taking the world by storm. They let you...
Because Israel took away my land, when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably.
And Jephthah sent messengers again unto the king of the children of Ammon, and said unto him,
Thus saith Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Israel came up from Egypt, and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea, and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent. And Israel abode in Kadesh. Then they went along through the wilderness, and compassed the land of Edom, and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, but came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, Let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together, and pitched in Jahaz, and fought against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coasts of the Amorites, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and from the wilderness even unto Jordan. So now the Lord God of Israel hath dispossessed the Amorites from before his people Israel. And shouldest thou possess it? Wilt not thou possess that which Chemosh thy God giveth thee to possess? So whomsoever the Lord our God shall drive out from before us, them will we possess. And now art thou anything better than Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive against Israel, or did he ever fight against them while Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her towns, and in Aroer and her towns, And in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon 300 years? Why therefore did ye not recover them within that time? Wherefore I have not sinned against thee, but thou doest me wrong to war against me. The Lord the judge be judged this day between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon.
Howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah which he sent him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mizpah of Gilead. And from Mizpah of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said,
If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering.
So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer, even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes, and said,
Alas, my daughter! Thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back.
And she said unto him,
My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth. For as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon.
And she said unto her father,
Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows.
And he said,
Go!
And he sent her away for 2 months. And she went with her companions, and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months, that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed, and she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel, that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. Judges, chapter 12. And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and went northward, and said unto Jephthah,
Wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and didst not call us to go with thee? We will burn thine house upon thee with fire.
And Jephthah said unto them,
I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon, and when I called you, ye delivered me not out of their hands. And when I saw that ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands, and passed over against the children of Ammon, and the Lord delivered them into my hand. Wherefore then are ye come up against unto me this day to fight against me?
Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead, and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said,
Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim, among the Ephraimites, and among the Manassites.
And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so, that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said,
Let me go over.
that the men of Gilead said unto him,
Art thou an Ephraimite?
If he said,
Nay.
then said they unto him,
Say now, Shibboleth.
And he said,
Sibboleth?
for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan, and there fell at that time of the Ephraimites 42,000. And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. Then died Jephthah the Gileadite, and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. And after him Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel. And he had 30 sons, and 30 daughters whom he sent abroad, and took in 30 daughters from abroad for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then died Ibzan, and was buried at Bethlehem. And after him Elon a Zebulunite judged Israel. And he judged Israel 10 years. And Elon the Zebulunite died, and was buried in Ajalon in the country of Zebulun. And after him Abdon the son of Hillel, a Pirathonite, judged Israel. And he had 40 sons and 30 nephews that rode on 70 ass colts, and he judged Israel 8 years. And Abdon the son of Hillel the Pirathonite died, and was buried in Pirathon in the land of Ephraim, in the mount of the Amalekites. Judges chapter 13. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and bare not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her,
Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb. And he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines.
Then the woman came and told her husband, saying,
A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. And now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing. For the child shall be a Nazarite to God, from the womb to the day of his death.
Then Manoah entreated the Lord, and said,
O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born.
And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah her husband was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran, and showed her husband, and said unto him,
Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day.
And Manoah arose, and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him,
Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman?
And he said,
I am.
And Manoah said,
Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him?
And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah,
Of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord,
I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee.
And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah,
Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Lord.
For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord,
What is thy name, that when thy sayings come to pass we may do thee honor?
And the angel of the Lord said unto him,
Why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret?
So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering, and offered it upon a rock unto the Lord. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on it, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of the Lord did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto his wife,
We shall surely die, because we have seen God.
But his wife said unto him,
If the Lord were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands. Neither would he have showed us all these things, nor would as at this time have told us such things as these.
And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. Judges chapter 14. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said,
I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife.
Then his father and his mother said unto him,
Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines?
And Samson said unto his father,
Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid, and he had nothing in his hand. But he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men to do. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them,
I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare to me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments.
And they said unto him,
Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it.
And he said unto them,
Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness.
And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife,
Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so?
And Samson's wife wept before him, and said,
Thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me.
And he said unto her,
Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee?
And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day, before the sun went down,
What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion?
And he said unto them,
If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle.
And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. Judges chapter 15. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said,
I will go into my wife into the chamber.
But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said,
I verily thought that thou hadst utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her.
And Samson said concerning them,
Now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure.
And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn, with the vineyards and olives. Then the Philistines said,
Who hath done this?
And they answered,
Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion.
And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. And Samson said unto them,
Though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease.
And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock Edom. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah, and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said,
Why are ye come up against us?
And they answered,
To bind Samson are we come up, to do to him as he hath done to us.
Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock Edom, and said to Samson,
Knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us?
And he said unto them,
As they did unto me, so have I done unto them.
And they said unto him,
We are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines.
And Samson said unto them,
Swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves.
And they spake unto him, saying,
No, but we will bind thee fast, and deliver thee into their hand, but surely we will not kill thee.
And they bound him with 2 new cords, and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said,
With the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men.
And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called the place Ramoth-Lehi. And he was sore athirst, and called on the Lord, and said,
Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant. And now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised?
But God clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived, wherefore he called the name thereof Enhakkore, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Judges, chapter 16. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told the Gazites, saying,
Samson is come hither.
And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying,
In the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him.
And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her,
Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
And Delilah said to Samson,
Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee.
And Samson said unto her,
If they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak, and be as another man.
Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him,
The Philistines be upon thee, Samson.
And he brake the withs, as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson,
Behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound.
And he said unto her,
If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man.
Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him,
The Philistines be upon thee, Samson.
And there were liers in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson,
Hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound.
And he said unto her,
If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web.
And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him,
The Philistines be upon thee, Samson.
And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him,
How canst thou say I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth.
And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her,
There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like any other man.
And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying,
Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart.
Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said,
The Philistines be upon thee, Samson.
And he awoke out of his sleep, and said,
I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself.
And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together, for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice, for they said,
Our God hath delivered Samson our enemy into our hand.
And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said,
Our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us.
And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said,
Call for Samson, that he may make us sport.
And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand,
Suffer me, that I may feel the pillars, whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord, and said,
O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes.
And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars, upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said,
Let me die with the Philistines.
And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down, and took him, and brought him up, and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol, in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. Judges, chapter 17. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim, whose name was Micah. And he said unto his mother,
The 1100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou cursest and speakest of also in mine ears, behold, the silver is with me, I took it.
And his mother said,
Blessed be thou of the Lord, my son.
And when he had restored the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother said,
I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand, for my son to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee.
Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver, and gave them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image. And they were in the house of Micah. And the man Micah had an house of gods, and made an ephod and teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priest. In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he journeyed. And Micah said unto him,
Whence comest thou?
And he said unto him,
I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place.
And Micah said unto him,
Dwell with me and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals.
So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah,
Now know I that the Lord will do me good, seeing that I have a Levite to my priest.
Judges, chapter 18. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in. For unto that day all their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel. And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coasts, men of valor, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said unto them,
Go search the land.
Who, when they came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, they lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man the Levite. And they turned in thither, and said unto him,
Who brought thee hither, and what makest thou in this place, and what hast thou here?
And he said unto them,
Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me, and hath hired me, and I am his priest.
And they said unto him,
Ask counsel, we pray thee, of God, that we may know whether our way which we go shall be prosperous.
And the priest said unto them,
Go in peace. Before the Lord is your way, wherein ye go.
Then the 5 men departed, and came to Laish, and saw the people that were therein, how they dwelt careless, after the manner of the Zidonians, quiet and secure. And there was no magistrate in the land that might put them to shame in anything, and they were far from the Zidonians, and had no business with any man. And they came unto their brethren to Zorah and Eshtaol, and their brethren said unto them,
What say ye?
And they said,
Arise, that we may go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are ye still? Be not slothful to go and to enter to possess the land. When ye go, ye shall come into a people secure, and to a large land, for God hath given it into your hands, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth.
And there went from thence of the family of the Danites, out of Zorah and out of Eshtaol, 600 men appointed with weapons of war. And they went up and pitched in Kirjath-jearim in Judah, wherefore they called that place Mahanadan unto this day. Behold, it is behind Kirjath-jearim. And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim, and came unto the house of Micah. Then answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren,
Do ye know that there is in these houses an ephod and teraphim, and a graven image and a molten image? Now therefore consider what ye have to do.
And they turned thitherward, and came to the house of the young man the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him. And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan, stood by the entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up, and came in thither, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went into Micah's house, and fetched the carved image, the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye? And they said unto him,
Hold thy peace, lay thine hand upon thy mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one man, or that thou be a priest unto a tribe and a family in Israel?
And the priest's heart was glad. And he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the cattle and the carriage before them. And when they were a good way from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near to Micah's house were gathered together, and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan. And they turned their faces, and said unto Micah,
What aileth thee that thou comest with such a company?
And he said,
Ye have taken away my gods which I made, and the priest, and ye are gone away. And what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me? What aileth thee?
And the children of Dan said unto him,
Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life with the lives of thy household.
And the children of Dan went their way. And when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back unto his house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priest which he had, and came unto Laish, unto the people that were at quiet and secure. And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and burnt the city with fire. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Zidon, and they had no business with any man. And it was in the valley that lieth by Beth-rehob. And they built a city, and dwelt therein. And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at the first. And the children of Dan set up the graven image. And Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan, until the day of the captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made, all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh. Judges, chapter 19.
Okay. I'm up to chapter 19. I need to look and see where I'm at in my reading. I think I've also read these the other day. I don't remember how far I got, but I'm getting sleepy. So, Judges. And here's the paper. And so on the 20th, I was supposed to do 11, 12, and 13, which I did. Tomorrow, I do through 16, and I did part of the next day as well. So, I'm a little ahead, and I was already ahead before, because like I said, I've already read a good part of this. But my goal is to do a reading every day. That's why I call these devotions daily in the Word. And even though I did read yesterday's portion, I didn't read it yesterday. I read it the day before, so I missed yet another day. Because I let myself be distracted and doing other things. I'm looking for a pen. And I I didn't do my reading yesterday. Can't find a pen. There's one. Got a pen. So, let's look at my paper. Here's my paper for the first page. And these circles is interruptions. When I was at the church retreat, I got back to the room late, and I did do my devotions, and I started them, but when I finished, I looked up at the clock, and it was after midnight, which is, not getting them done in that day. So I circled it, and I said, well, I didn't hold to my goal, which was to be daily in the Word. And then on March 11th, I missed. I got distracted, and I just utterly, absolutely forgot. So I didn't give myself a star that day. And then, like I said, I didn't remember yesterday, which was the 19th. Ugh. Wait a minute. I got it marked off. So the day that I did Judges, the 18th, probably was in the evening and late. So the reason why I probably checked it off is that it was after midnight. So I did do it on the day that I was scheduled to do it. I just did it, after midnight. So I don't have to circle that one. And then today, I did today. Trying to get my pen to write. It's starting to write there. Okay, so I'm marking off today's. And I read through to the 9th. I didn't do the 19th. Let me go ahead and do the 19th. So I'm not stopping in the middle of the day. And it won't hurt me to get ahead. Because, sorry. Because interruption in my schedule. I'm going tomorrow. I got to get up at and be at the church at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then we're going to travel to Roanoke, I think Virginia. And go to the Women's Prayer Advance. And it'll be a long drive. I've got a schedule somewhere. I think they sent me an email about it. The schedule. Looking that up. See, email. Stephen Bond. Support. Stacy, here it is. So on Thursday, March 21st, it says be at the church by 7:15 so that we can load the bus and leave promptly at 7:30. Please don't be late. Then they'll stop about halfway for a restroom break, and then they'll stop at Chick-fil-A for lunch before going to the conference. And then it says, that's just Thursday. And then, after lunch, we'll continue to travel to the conference, and then we'll check into our hotels. After check-in, it says we're going to Shakey's restaurant for dinner. And return to the conference, and then back to the hotel when over. So I think there's a session probably Thursday. Thursday evening. But it doesn't say the time. Then Friday it says be on the bus by 8. We're going to head to the conference. After the morning session, we will promptly do lunch. So I need to be up. It says have breakfast at the hotel and be on the bus by 8. So again, I have to, I guess, get up at 7. And then get dressed and have breakfast and then be on the bus by 8. And then we're going to go to the morning session of the conference. And then there'll be a break for lunch. Then we'll have an evening session. So there's the morning session and the evening session on Friday. Then we'll have dinner. And then there's going to be, well, there's going to be a morning session, an afternoon session, and an evening session. So there's going to be 3 sessions on Friday. And then Saturday, there's just going to be a morning session. So we'll get up, have breakfast at the hotel again, then head to the conference around 8. It says at the conclusion of the conference, we will leave for home. The bus will stop at Chick-fil-A again on the way home. And then that's it. That's the schedule. They don't have the conference schedule, though. Let me see if the conference registration. It says registration will begin at 10 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Please arrive a little early so that you can be registered and be in place for the first session. So the first session is, I think, Thursday at 1:30 p.m. I think. I don't see any more of a schedule. I think when I get there, they'll give me a schedule of all the conferences and the times, and they'll probably give me a lineup of the topics. Because I think there's a session where you can pick between different things based on your interest. So they'll have probably at least 3 or 4 speakers, and you can choose which one you want to listen to. Which, you know, is nice that you got a choice, but, you know, it's also unfortunate that they have them all a choice at the same time, because you got to pick one and you don't get the benefit of the other choices. Anyhow, blah, 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 blah. What did I say I was going to do? I think, I'm going to finish listening to Joshua. No, not Joshua. I'm doing Judges. So, this is 18, I think. Okay, so I need to go to, just finished listening to 18, and I paused it before I got to 19. What did I do with the remote? I think I'm sitting on it. It feels like it. No. Oh, there it is. Oh. All right. I found it. So, I'll push play.
It came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having her servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law,
Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way.
And they sat down, and did eat and drink both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man,
Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry.
And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him. Therefore he lodged there again. And he arose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart. And the damsel's father said,
Comfort thine heart, I pray thee.
And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat both of them. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him,
Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you, tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home.
But the man would not tarry that night. But he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled. His concubine also was with him. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent. And the servant said unto his master,
Come, I pray thee, and let us turn into this city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it.
And his master said unto him,
We will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah.
And he said unto his servant,
Come, and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night, in Gibeah or in Ramah.
And they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at Even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said,
Whither goest thou, and whence comest thou?
And he said unto him,
We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything.
And the old man said,
Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street.
So he brought him into his house, and gave provender unto the asses. And they washed their feet, and did eat and drink. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying,
Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him.
And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them,
Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly. Seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing.
But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine, and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her, and abused her all the night until morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house, where her lord was, till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman his concubine was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her,
Up, and let us be going.
But none answered. Then the man took her upon an ass, and the man rose up, and gat him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her, together with her bones, into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. And it was so that all that saw it said,
There was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds.
Judges chapter 20. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Mizpah. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel,
Tell us, how was this wickedness?
And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said,
I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me. And my concubine have they forced that she is dead. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel. For they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel.
And all the people arose as one man, saying,
We will not any of us go to his tent, neither will we any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it, and we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel.
So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying,
What wickedness is this that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death, and put away evil from Israel.
But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people there were 700 chosen men left-handed. Every one could sling stones at an hairbreadth, and not miss. And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God, and asked counsel of God, and said,
Which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin?
And the Lord said,
Judah shall go up first.
And the children of Israel rose up in the morning, and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah, and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. And the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves, and set their battle again in array, in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying,
Shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother?
And the Lord said,
Go up against him.
And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God, and wept, and sat there before the Lord, and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, For the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying,
Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin my brother, or shall I cease?
And the Lord said,
Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand.
And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city. And they began to smite of the people, and kill as at other times in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said,
They are smitten down before us as at the first.
But the children of Israel said,
Let us flee and draw them from the city unto the highways.
And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore, but they knew not that evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjaminites, because they trusted unto the liers in wait which they had set beside Gibeah. And the liers in wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah, and the liers in wait drew themselves along, and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liers in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons. For they said,
Surely they are smitten down before us as in the first battle.
But when the flame began to arise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness. But the battle overtook them, and them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about, and chased them, and trode them down with ease over against Gibeah toward the sunrising. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All these were men of valor. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness unto the rock of Rimmon. And they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them unto Gidom, and slew 2,000 men of them. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 men that drew the sword. All these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men of every city, as the beast, and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to. Judges, chapter 21. Now the men of Israel had sworn in Mizpah, saying,
There shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife.
And the people came to the house of God, and abode there till even before God, and lifted up their voices, and wept sore, and said,
O Lord God of Israel, why is this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel?
And it came to pass on the morrow, that the people rose early, and built there an altar, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said,
Who is there among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation unto the Lord?
For they had made a great oath concerning him that came not up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying,
He shall surely be put to death.
And the children of Israel repented them for Benjamin their brother, and said,
There is one tribe cut off from Israel this day. How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wives?
And they said,
What one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah to the Lord?
And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying,
Go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children. And this is the thing that ye shall do. Ye shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that hath lain by man.
And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins, that had known no man by lying with any male. And they brought them unto the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because that the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said,
How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin?
And they said,
There must be an inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel.
Howbeit, we may not give them wives of our daughters. For the children of Israel have sworn, saying, Cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin.
Then they said,
Behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly, in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebanon.
Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying,
Go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and see and behold if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances. Then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be, when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, Be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserve not to each man his wife in the war. For ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty.
And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught. And they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwelt in them. And the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family. And they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
Terrible. In reading the book of Judges, I come across a message by, I think, Skip. And he said, of all the books in the Bible that I would not want there to be that book, he said Judges is one, because of the constant departure of Israel from following after God. It was like a cycle. And then the book of Judges ends in this story of civil war, you know? And it's just terrible. Here, oops. And gotta do it again. The book of Judges, there it is. Go down, down, down. There it is. And I'll show you what I'm talking about if it comes up. Yep. I don't know if it was this one that I watched, or if it was this. It was probably this one. This is a synopsis.
Distressed. So phase 1, rebellion. Phase 2, retribution. Phase 3 and 4,
is repentance and restoration.
You see that I was watching it because it's not at the beginning. But I'll just play the introduction.
Would you turn in your Bibles, please, to the book of Judges in your Old Testament? Judges chapter 1, Bible from 30,000 feet. I want to remind you of that because there are sections of this book that a lot of you would love to study in depth. We have done that before. It is recorded for you to get anytime you wish. But this is the Bible from 30,000 feet, so we're not going to be uncovering every branch, every twig, every leaf, just sort of looking at things in general and telling the story. As we begin, I was thinking how I remember back in school, the empty feeling I used to get when I would do bad on a test or get a bad grade in a test. If I got below a certain GPA, my parents didn't deal with that well. I didn't deal with that well. Israel, in the book of Judges, gets an epic F for failure on their test to obey and serve the Lord. Here's what I mean. Do you remember how the book of Joshua ended when Joshua gave his farewell speech to the nation? And he says, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, finish it for me. We will
serve the Lord.
We will serve the Lord. That's what Joshua said. He put his gauntlet down and said, I'm going to serve the Lord with my family. Israel responded immediately saying, us too. We will serve the Lord. With that sentence still ringing in the air, so to speak, we come now to the book of Judges that shows their total failure to serve the Lord. Verse 1 begins, now after the death of Joshua. This is the end of a strong, centralized leadership in the nation of Israel. When Moses died, God raised up Joshua to take his place. But now Joshua is dead, even though his death will be mentioned here again in this book. And after Joshua dies, there's no central leader anymore. Now there are just the tribes of Israel settling into their land allotments, making decisions to go to war. So it is tribal government rather than central government. It's a 350-year period that this book marks out. But think of it as 350 years from the centralized government under Joshua as their central leader to the first king of Israel, King Saul. Between Joshua and King Saul is the period of the book of Judges. Now, it says the book of Judges, and immediately you think in your mind, most people do, a courtroom. A guy in a black robe with a gavel, litigating, pronouncing guilty or innocent. You need to push that out of your mind and think in terms of tribal warriors. A judge in the Old Testament was a regional, political, military leader. Think of it as a tribal chieftain. The book of Judges highlights 13 of them. Some count 14. I'm going to say 13. 12 men and 1 woman that we're going to get to. But I want to give you a warning. The book is rated R. It's a very bloody book. It's a very violent book. It is a disturbing book. Yeah. It is filled with and tells the truth of Israel's moral corruption. But I got to tell you something. This is why I like the Bible. The Bible doesn't hide the truth about its own history, the history of God's people. Not only are they imperfect, but in some cases, they utterly blow it and become so morally depraved, not even reflecting the God they said they would serve. But to me, that actually highlights the veracity of the scripture, because a lot of biographies will just tell you all the good points about the heroes that they write about. The Bible tells you the dark underside of biblical heroes. And we find biblical heroes in this book. Now, the theme of the book of Judges is from conquest to compromise. Joshua was all about conquest. The first part of this book is all about conquest. But quickly it goes from conquest to compromise. And we find God's people, the children of Israel, walking in circles, or more appropriately, cycles of sin. I'm going to explain that in a moment, the sin cycle. Chapters 1 and 2 speak about conquest. Chapters 3 through 16 highlight their compromise, and chapters 17 through 21, chaos.
Yeah.
The chaos that fills the nation of Israel. So conquest, compromise, and chaos. Now I'm going to read something to you that I found, and I want you to keep this in mind, not only as you think of Judges in 1300s BC, but think of this in...
I'm going to comment here. Because Joshua, or the book of Judges, is the story from the end of Joshua's life until the time of King Saul. And he says the last part of the book of Judges, 17 through 21, is a time of chaos. So it's during this time of chaos that when there's no... the last verse of Judges is, in those days, there was no king in Israel. There was no leadership. So that every man did that which was right in his own eyes. So they were a law unto themselves. And it was this time period that the people went to the prophet that God had sent, which was the prophet Samuel, I believe. And they said, you know, we want to have a king like the countries around us do. So they weren't in a good place, is my point. They weren't in a good place. They were in a place of chaos. They were in a place when everybody was doing what, you know, they thought was right. And it was this place that they made this all-important decision to have a king. And the king that God gave them was a king that mirrored their spiritual health and their moral health, I believe. You know, it seemed like he was a good choice at first. But just like these people, I suppose they could put on a good face. Saul could put on a good face. You know, he was tall, he was good looking, he was a warrior, and he even seemed to be a man of God at first. But it wasn't too long before he turned aside. So that Saul matched the people. He was a king of a chaotic heart and a troubled heart. And a king that didn't follow God. And they were a people that didn't follow God. So he's in this introduction, he never said, you know, this is the book of the Bible that of all the books, you know, this is the one I wouldn't want, you know, in the Bible. Because it's so oppressive in what it says. And it's hard to read. Especially the last part, the chaos part, man. The Civil War, the wickedness of the heart of the townspeople, and you know, and what was it, Gilead? That the town, they were Benjamites there, and the men were they wanted to this man that came into the city, you know, the stranger. They wanted to have sex with the stranger. They were depraved men that, you know, I think they would have killed him too. You know, they weren't wanting to have a relationship and marry him and live happily ever after in a same-sex relationship. No, they wanted to rape and even murder this man. And the old man protected the man that was under his roof and sent out the concubine instead, and they killed her. So this was the mentality of the Benjamites of that city. They were murderers, and they were violent, and they were immoral, and they just wanted to do wickedness. And so when Israel gathered together all the tribes, and they said, you know, they had a conference, or they had a tribal tribunal. They said, well, we're going to hold these men accountable for what they did, and they're going to be punished, and they're going to be put to death for killing this man's concubine, his wife, and we're going to put the evil out of our land, but we're going to hold them accountable. And they went to the tribe of Benjamin, and they said, bring out these men that did this thing, and we're going to put them to death. And Benjamin would not. Benjamin, as a people, protected these evil people, and caused a civil war, and the death toll is immense. So many people of the tribe of Israel fell, and God allowed it. You know, God could have delivered them up, and just, but you know, I think the war matched the heart and the spiritual depravity of the people at the time. So that, you know, there's a great deal of death because of this. And we don't see a time of revival. We don't see a time where people said, you know, why have so many died? And then you see they took matters in their own hand. After they killed so many men in Benjamin, they said, oh no, what have we done? You know, now we no longer have the tribe of Benjamin among us. There's only, I think they said 400 men that were left. And they said, you know, they don't have any women. They will have no progenies. So there will be no more, you know, the tribe of Benjamin will die out, because men can't have children. They needed wives. And they had promised that they would not give their daughters to the tribe of Benjamin because they were too wicked. So look what they did. They went back to war. They slew more people. And they took the virgins that survived, and they gave them to the tribe of Benjamin, but there weren't enough wives to go around. So they told these men to wait until this feast time and lie in wait and go out and capture yourself a wife. And if anybody complains about, you know, oh, they stole our daughter, they said, well, you know, we said we would not give them our daughters by an oath, and we didn't. So we kept our oath. But let this be the way this problem of losing a tribe out of Israel will be solved. And let it survive, you know, be tolerant of their actions, because they needed wives. And we want the tribe of Benjamin to continue. So it's just the whole book is just one big mess. One big terrible mess. But I have finished a book. So, and that'll take me through this conference. If I get busy and distracted and forget to do my daily reading, I'm at least not getting behind, because I've gone ahead to the end of the conference. But you know, of course, I'm taking my Bible with me, and I should still do the daily reading. So even though I've read it, I should reread it when I'm down there. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I'm putting my stars down there. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I just put a star for today. So, like I said, tomorrow morning I gotta be at the church at 7 o'clock in the morning, packed up and ready to go. So, if I'm daily in the Word and I reread these things, then I will put stars. But I have read them. That's why I've checked them off as read. The stars mean daily. All right, so I'm done. I am done. And it's taken me an hour and 25 minutes today. Because I did so much today. And I'm slow at getting to it because it's 3:49. So I started about 2:49, around 2-ish. Yeah. I watched a couple of movies last night. I got Pureflix, and I watched, how many movies? I think I watched like 3 movies last night. I watched Tyson Run, and then I watched a Western one, and another one. Did I watch just 2, or did I watch 3? I think there's one in between. I can hear voices. I can't remember, but I actually fell asleep on the couch last night, and I got up and I went to bed, and then it took me a while to go back to sleep, and I think I woke up a bunch of times in the night. And then I woke up this morning and I just did not want to get up because of the poor night's sleep and being up late, and yeah, so I got up around 11, which is terrible. But I had been awake a lot. I just wasn't out of bed. I kept going, I'm tired, and I thought it was really early. So when I finally got up and I looked at the clock, I was like, oh, wow. Because the day before, I got up at like 8. So I don't know why I did that. I just did. Maybe I just needed to get caught up and I need some rest. I don't know. And then I got up and come out here and I had a cup of coffee. And then I had another cup of coffee and I had some breakfast, which is more like lunch. I had a couple of eggs that I fried, and then I had a banana pancake and a blueberry pancake, and then had an orange. So had some food. And of course my sensor went off because I ate pancakes. I put a little syrup on them. I tried just a little bit, but it caused me to beep, and the orange didn't help, because oranges, as the doctor said that I went to see yesterday, she says, oh, fruit has so much sugar in it. It's probably why I like it so much, because I got such a sweet tooth. At least I'm not eating sugar when I eat fruit. Not granulated, you know, corn syrup and whatnot. And then, like the pancake syrup, it says right on the bottle that it's not made with corn syrup, but it's also not made with, I thought it was maple syrup, and it wasn't. It's some manufactured flavored stuff. But at least it's not corn syrup. Teeny tiny bit better. And I tried not to put a lot of it on there. Oh, but I'm done with my daily reading, and I'm going to shut this off and take a break. I need a break. So this is over with. Bye-bye.